This is Chicago's very own WGN Evening News at 5.
Decision 2018, the Illinois primary just 1 week away from today. And tonight, an in-depth look at the crowded field of Democrats in the race for governor.
WGN political reporter Tahman Bradley is here with the scorecard and where they stand on the issues. You need a scorecard in this one, don't you?
You sure do.
Yeah.
We've got help for you, Ben. And Micah, you've seen their commercials. You've probably gotten their mailers. Tonight, we take a moment to let you see and hear more from the 6 Democrats running for Illinois governor.
The frontrunner in the polls is J.B. Pritzker, a billionaire venture capitalist. Pritzker is self-funding, spending more than $63 million on the campaign. In the blitz of ads, Pritzker is marketing himself as the candidate of bold ideas.
We've got to think big in this state. We've got to get an awful lot done.
Pritzker's themes touch on creating jobs, economic inclusion, health care, early childhood education, and standing up to President Trump.
I see a state ready to unite, ready to rebuild.
For months, with key labor endorsements in hand, Pritzker looked past the primary, instead focusing on Governor Rauner.
Illinois is coming together with a common purpose, beating Bruce Rauner.
His lieutenant governor running mate is State Rep Juliana Stratton of Chicago.
I'm ready to move our state forward with JB and with all of you.
Pritzker's Democratic opponents, along with Rauner, have seized on the businessman's ties to Rod Blagojevich. Last summer, the Chicago Tribune released this 2008 FBI wiretap.
Total non-issue. Well, first of all, you give money to everybody, like Lisa Madigan, okay?
Yeah.
There was nothing inappropriate about my conversations with the governor.
But that was not all on the recording. Last month, another clip. On this one, Pritzker lobbies Blagojevich to appoint Secretary of State Jesse White to Barack Obama's vacant Senate seat.
It covers you on the African-American thing.
Correct.
Emo's a little more crass, but it does cover you, and it doesn't get you Jesse Jackson Jr., which, oh, God, please. The one that is least offensive and maybe gets you the most is Jesse White.
Pritzker would quickly apologize.
On that call, I was not my best self. I can be better. I have been better.
But the candidate shifted from offense to defense. Another wealthy businessman, Chris Kennedy, is in the race. Former president of Merchandise Mart, he runs the family real estate holdings. The son of the late Robert F. Kennedy and the nephew of JFK, Kennedy has opened up about the gun violence that took his father and uncle.
The bullet that kills the father wounds the child. We have entire communities dealing with PTSD and other issues.
Kennedy is pushing a plan to combat gun violence. He wants to increase the number of police on the streets, toughen gun control, improve mental health services, and provide trauma treatment to those impacted by violence.
Now we know how to heal. Now we know how to help. And yet we don't help, we don't heal, we don't fix, because we don't spend the money to do so.
Kennedy picked activist Rod Joy to serve as his running mate. Joy's 23-year-old son Xavier was shot and killed last summer in Chicago.
We've been trying to turn poison into medicine and find ways to turn pain into purpose.
Inexperienced in politics, Kennedy seems to speak off the cuff. To some, it could seem boorish, like when the candidate struggled to say something nice about J.B. Pritzker.
And when J.B. emerges as the poster child of all that's wrong with the corrupt system in our state, it's difficult for me to heap praise on him.
There was also Kennedy's blunt talk about gentrification.
I believe that black people are being pushed out of Chicago intentionally by a strategy that involves disinvestment in communities.
Those comments were widely condemned by the political establishment.
I'm looking forward to ideas, not insults.
But others heard truth. Kennedy has spoken out against the state's property tax system, calling it a racket.
I think we need to see that we're in a rigged system that's screwing everybody but the super rich and the connected.
The candidate faced backlash from members of his own party when he applauded Governor Rauner's effort to highlight conflicts of interest in the property tax appeal system, a system Kennedy himself may have taken advantage of.
Democrat Daniel Biss, the middle-class governor.
State Senator Daniel Biss, a former math professor, is trying to stand out by telling working-class voters he understands their day-to-day struggle.
We need a middle-class progressive to be governor of Illinois. We've had enough of inexperienced, wealthy business people buying their way into office.
Biss's platform calls for a LaSalle Street tax that would collect money from financial transactions on the Board of Trade and Mercantile Exchange. He's also pushing to create a publicly funded matching program for small campaign donations and leadership term limits. Biss, who once ran a super PAC for Michael Madigan, has tried to distance himself from the speaker in the wake of sexual harassment complaints in Springfield.
Speaker Madigan should step down as chair of the Democratic Party of Illinois.
Courting progressives, Biss initially tapped Chicago Alderman Carlos Ramirez Rosa as his lieutenant governor pick, but he dropped him after 6 days over differences involving Israel. Later, State Representative Letisa Wallace joined the ticket.
I'm the average person. I think so many people are waiting to see a face that is like theirs. They're waiting to hear a story that is like theirs.
When the primary kicked into higher gear back in January, the team picked up steam, surging to second place in some polls. But Biss has taken fire for writing a bill to cap state pensions and require workers to contribute more into their fund. The bill was later ruled unconstitutional. 3 other candidates polling in low single digits are on the ballot. In his second run for governor, violence interrupter, ceasefire co-founder Teal Hardeman is courting black voters.
We've never had a black governor in the state of Illinois. As you can see the way I'm dressed today, I'm wearing this as a symbol for everybody here in our great state.
Bob Diber, Madison County School Superintendent, is the first downstate Democrat to run for governor since 1998.
I'm the only candidate that's been in leadership and organized labor, paid 28 years of union dues. That was the backbone of the Democratic Party. That still is the backbone of the Democratic Party. That's what I represent.
And finally, Dr. Robert Marshall wants to divide Illinois into 3 separate states: Chicago, the suburbs, and downstate.
Marijuana, casino gambling, dividing the state up into 3 brand new states. I'm an anti-establishment candidate, and I have ideas that nobody has.
Public and private campaign polls show a decent number of voters remain undecided. So the final week of campaigning could matter. Micah and Ben.
Good indeed. All right, Tahman, thanks.